Hello everybody, my name is Nathan Jackaman, and today I will be presenting my study, Real versus Perceived Anti-Semitism Amongst the American Evangelical Community. The evangelical community can be defined as evangelical Christians in the United States, and they represent a significant religious and cultural group that is primarily in the South, but they are spread throughout the United States. They are characterized by their commitment to the authority of the Bible, necessity of personal conversion, of being born again, hence they're called Baptists, and emphasis on evangelism, and generally share the core beliefs of personal relationship with Jesus Christ and God, a literal truth of the Bible, which is from their roots in Calvinism, as well as a mandate to spread their faith. Now, moving on to Judeo-Christian relations, Catholic-Jewish tensions marked a significant historical period which left a mark on Jewish psyches regarding their receptiveness to Christianity, even though they are very different than evangelical Christians. Now, moving on to the born-again movement, which I mentioned earlier, would see Jews comparing them to the KKK, as it was founded in the similar area in the South, and almost all of the members of the Ku Klux Klan and other racist groups, if that's the correct term, would be composed of majority evangelical Christians. And the 1980s witnessed the rise of the born-again movement. Even though it had existed prior, the born-again movement really rose in the 1980s due to celebrity pastors and the rise of television and more access to more people. So more people were exposed to evangelical beliefs through. So prior research on Jewish perceptions, Pew Research has done research over 20 years on Jewish perceptions about anti-Semitism, and the agency has done studies as well. One of them, their anti-Semitism. Now this leads to my research question. Is there a difference between real anti-Semitic rhetoric on Twitter amongst the evangelical Christian community versus perceived anti-Semitism by the American Jewish community? So obviously I'll be using Twitter as the main source of real-world rhetoric on this, compared to the perception, which is what the American Jewish Committee used in their study, which I will be pulling, which said about 80% of Jews see evangelicals as the most anti-Semitic group. So the study analyzed tweets from 15 prominent evangelical Christian leaders and organizations. This was taken from the top list, according to Twitter and evangelical Christian websites, of pastors and organizations that had the most following on Twitter. And data collection occurred between September 1st and October 15th, 2024. Some tweets within a 1-month period before or after that could have been collected as well, but that seems unlikely. And that data was correlated with the AJC study, which was collected at the exact same time. The collection process utilized an OCR, OCR is an AI tool used for text scanning that was used on the tweets, and coding designed to imitate human scrolling in order to not violate Twitter's policy of no bots. Correlate them together. Going on to the analysis tools, Vader sentiment analysis was employed for social media text evaluation. That was put together with the Anti-Defamation League's dictionary, which provided base words and phrases that I don't really want to provide examples because some of them could be vulgar, but base words and phrases that could be considered anti-Semitic. And the Vader tool would see if they were positively used or negatively used, or neutrally used, because it all depends on the context, and Vader analyzes the context. So all those tweets were then taken with the OCR and put into a standard.txt document, so the Vader sentiment analysis tool could read all the tweets and put them through along with the Anti-Defamation League dictionary to see what is considered anti-Semitic, and if that's positive, negative, or neutral. The text format was standardized using the specialized coding procedures in Bash, and the OCR to scan all of the text and, of course, format it into the Vader processing tool so we can process to see what is positive, negative, or neutral. So this leads on to the results. Now, you can see the majority of the tweets were neutral content, but the amount of positive tweets compared to negative tweets at 8.7% were much larger than the negative tweets at 5.9%, but the vast majority, 85.4%, were neutral. And the perception analysis, the AJC's annual anti-Semitism reports for the 2024 year provided the perception data. The surveys were conducted during the same time frame, as I mentioned earlier. The data that I collected revealed a significant gap between perception and observable social media behavior by the majority of tweets that did not have anti-Semitic rhetoric with them. The Pearson correlation test showed significance with the p-value less than 0.00001. That means there is zero significance between the perception and the observable statement by evangelical organizations and leaders on Twitter. Moving on to the discussion, the prevalence of neutral and positive sentiments challenges the notion of widespread anti-Semitism, as I mentioned before, and a significant portion of evangelical Christian discourse does not engage with Jewish-related topics, as you could see with the 85% neutral tweets, and the higher percentage of positive tweets at about 8% compared to the negative ones indicates supportive tendencies toward the Jewish community from the evangelical community, relationship between the perception and the reality in the interfaith relations between evangelical Christians and the American Jewish community. Now, there are some limitations. The code could have not taken screenshots exclusively in the time period. The study also was a non-tailored study, which was made by the AJC. If I made my own survey, it probably would have garnered different results. It could have garnered different results, which could have affected the answer to the research question. The Vader tool parameters, it could have included unintended documents that weren't in the screenshots and research questions. So what are the implications of this research? The findings suggest there needs to be a need for improved interfaith dialogue and communications, and media representations of evangelical attitudes toward Judaism might require reassessment, and further studies could examine larger population samples over extended periods. Public policy implications require further investigation and development. You're my works cited. Thank you.